We're here with Fernando Mendoza, class of 2000.
Class of 2022.
From the C Pride, and also quarterback at Cal right now. We're gonna get into a ton of things, but before we get started, would love for you to give a little intro about yourself and tell the people some of the things you got going on.
For sure. Yeah. First of all, thank you so much for having me on.
Of course.
Truly a blessing, and amazing to connect with the brotherhood. As he said,
Yep.
I went to Columbus, class of 2022, so just show how the brotherhood is reinforced. And that's the best, all boys school in Miami.
We got the camera guy back there, also Columbus guy.
Oh yeah,
the pooch.
And then I'm now the Cal quarterback. So it's been a long journey from Miami all the way to kind of the San Francisco area, but it's been an amazing journey. I'm blessed through it all.
Hell yeah. I think let's rewind to before the Cal days, right?
Yeah.
And your time at Columbus. You guys won a state championship, which also was a big deal at Columbus after a long stretch of not being able to get it done. Can you talk about what that year looked like a little bit at Columbus and kind of how everyone rallied around you guys?
Yeah, so that was a special year in Columbus history. That year had been hyped up as we had a ton of national prospects like Xavier Henderson, Elijah Roberts, and the famous Henry Parrish. Especially with the Sports Center run, everybody in the Columbus community was
that was a stiff arm, right?
Yeah, that was like, especially on Belen, that was like the epitome of Columbus football.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
So
iconic.
So we started the year off really, really strong, and I was lucky enough to be a part of it. And throughout the season, by our sixth game, although we had all the hype, especially the national level with Sports Center, and I know we were ranked pretty highly on Max Preps, we ended up being like 3-3, like 500. And we lost to some subpar teams at the time, which was like South Dade and a couple other teams that we were highly favored to win. So at that point, some of the seniors, like Jordan Garcia and so many other guys like Max Villar, Elijah, Doobie, which is Xavier Henderson, they all kind of brought us together and was like, hey, we need to turn this around. This is our last chance, because they lost in the States the last year by like a 2-point conversion. So they were already favored to go to States, being 500 in the start of the season. And usually like Columbus, they go to the start of the season a little easier, and then they pick up the games to like more of the
later
national
in the season,
teams.
it starts to pick up.
Yeah, so being already 500, they're like, oh shoot, we need to pick it up or else that's it. Our promise that going from junior year, all those guys, to senior year, we're finally gonna win it. We're finally gonna get over that hump. We need to change something. And that was when a big culture shift happened. And we had so much talent on the team. But one of the things that stood out to me is when they played Mandarin and they lost to them. They were like, hey, Mandarin came out. They were all in the same matching uniform. They were all like single file line. And although that's, it's insignificant, they're like, oh, whatever. Maybe they're like, the coach makes them do it like that. It was a big thing is that we had so much talent on the Columbus roster, but it needed to be more disciplined.
Right.
We needed more disciplined. And the players took that account. Anyone who's late, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, even as a star player,
they got
repercussions.
Yeah.
We played Western later in the season. Elijah Roberts, who was like American Conference Defensive Player of the Year, he showed up like 2 minutes late or something like that, and Coach Dunn didn't let him play the first half of the Western game.
Holy shit.
Which was like a playoff game at that point. And it was like a big game. We weren't winning by a ton. We weren't favored. And it was to show the team, hey, this is discipline. This is the Columbus way. We're not doing any of this superstar massage treatment.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Columbus, we're playing the best players, and we're being disciplined. I think that's a big thing with Columbus, Yeah. Everybody were kind of the grinding, over there in Westchester. So I think that's when the culture really connected to the football program.
Yeah.
And Elijah, he's an amazing guy. I played against him this year at SMU. So, he's a phenomenal player. He's going to play in the NFL one day.
Got to mark that on the calendar.
Yeah. Then after that, it was free-flowing from there. The starting quarterback, Moody, ended up getting injured, and I ended up subbing in for 6 or 7 weeks, and we ended up battling it out throughout the playoffs. And since that 500 mark that we talked about, undefeated since then. And we were lucky enough to win the state championship against great players. We played against Jalen Carter, who was a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. You see him now in the Eagles. He's wrecking things.
Where did you go to high school?
Apopka.
Apopka, that's right.
And the only reason he didn't go top 5 was because of character issues.
Yeah.
Which has nothing to do on the field. On the field,
you're
not.
Stud.
you're not asking for a handshake. You're scared of the guy. And so, I mean, that was a great season, and see Columbus and the community. Like, even though I didn't actually, I held the field goal, but although I didn't actually like really contribute to in the actual state game, I was able to contribute to the season.
Absolutely,
and I saw the aftermath. We might have had like 3 or 4 parades. Like, it was like Columbus alumni who knew who I was, and I was like the backup quarterback. There was a time that I forgot what it was, but I know I was in a rush to get the Sunset Place to meet up with one of my friends, and I backed into somebody, had a car accident. And I was like, oh, this is so terrible. I was like a 10th grader. It was my first time driving. And the guy was like, we ended up figuring, obviously with insurance, but it was a lot easier through the process because he was a Columbus alumni. His brother had. He was like, yeah, just won. Let's go.
Such a Columbus story. It's like you run into the guy, you're thinking like the worst case scenario, and all of a sudden, of course, it's a Columbus guy, and he knows, yeah, you play football at Columbus. Oh, don't worry about it. You're good.
And it's a Tesla. At this point, it's when they just came out. I'm like, oh shoot, like I'm grounded for sure. So
that's hilarious. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, like you said, it was like the parades and everything. It was like if we won like a Super Bowl essentially, but at the high school level. I mean, that's essentially what it is. But the Columbus network like took it personal, and like they really rallied behind it. I mean, there was watch parties at Sports Grill. Like it was a big deal.
Yeah.
So you win the state championship. Obviously, then you become the starting quarterback the year after, right?
Yeah.
And then you play. You finish your career at Columbus, and then you start getting recruited. Can you talk about that recruiting period in your life where you start getting offers from schools and kind of making that decision of like what's the next step in your life? Can you kind of go through that process?
Yeah, and the one word I would use to describe football recruiting would be subjective, as it's not like swimming or track that they have the times. Like, hey, we know you're this good. We know you're 39 seconds. This guy's 40 seconds.
Right.
There's so many aspects of potential, of size, of just the character development and how good they are as a player overall. And I think a big lack in my recruiting process was the COVID. And obviously, everyone could blame COVID, and I'm really thankful how my journey ended up going out, and I thank God for it all the time. But so once I started, springtime is when the coaches come and see you. Especially a quarterback is a very subjective position. You see people like 100%. Tom Brady playing and, like Josh Allen. We also have quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson and like Brock Purdy. They're all super different styles. Yeah, it's not like O-line where you want the biggest, baddest guy. It's very subjective. So at that point, none of the coaches could come. And since all the national recruits played their sophomore year, the entirety of their sophomore year, it was tough to get recruited. So I had to wait till after junior year, after I had all the film, because the camps were still shut down.
Gotcha.
So the coaches couldn't see me in spring nor summer. And it was like wishy-washy if we were even going to play because of how bad it was in Miami-Dade.
Forgot about that whole COVID time. Yeah, that puts a whole wrench in things.
So no one could see me. And then after my junior year, we had a great junior year. We went undefeated. We unfortunately did not win state because we didn't have the opportunity. We won the Tri-County, which we got a ring for because we were the 2 highest ranked teams. It was Deerfield Beach and Columbus, and we won that game. So we hold that as a championship. It's not a state championship, but it's definitely a championship. And so after that, my film, after junior year, going to senior year, that's when I was really able to kind of mobilize my recruiting process. But all the schools like Alabama, Georgia, all these huge schools already have their guys going into senior year. Yeah. Like if you see the Elite 11, like those guys make bank off of, hey, like watch our Elite 11. We have the Georgia guy, we have the Alabama guy, and all these huge fan bases come together.
Yeah, they're recruiting way early in the process.
Yeah, and you already know who the dudes are by 10th, especially 11th grade.
Yeah.
That's when it really is, 11th grade. And then so up to my senior year, the only real offer that I had was Yale. And I was like, bro, I mean, Yale. Let's go. Like, I guess, like, we're not
Ivy
really good at football.
I mean, great academic program, obviously.
Yeah, great academic. Like, hopefully I make big bucks on Wall Street one day to make up for football. But, and nothing against Yale. I mean,
it could have been like the next Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah. And
he's funny
enough.
He went to
Harvard.
Ivy League, right? Harvard, that's right. Yeah.
Funny enough, I talked to most of the Ivy Leagues. I talked to everyone except Harvard, and every one of their recruiting pitches were you can be like Ryan Fitzpatrick. Although they didn't even go to the school, and which showed a little bit of a red flag because I'm like, you don't have your own NFL players to go
they're
after.
talking about another guy.
You know, I want to play in the NFL. That's my dream. That's my aspiration. That's what I'm gonna do. So my whole heart, that's what I believe. So, you know, threw a little red flag. But I'm like, hey, it's a great opportunity, great school, and it's a platform. It's a platform to play football, and actually, funny story, the reason I didn't talk to Harvard is because I got on one phone call with them. Because Coach Dunn, he actually coached at Harvard.
Really?
So
I know he coached at Catholic for a little bit.
Yeah, so he coached at Harvard, and he sent the contact. And at the same time, the school was committed to Yale, said, hey, we're going to call you soon. Like from like the recruiting room with all the coaches and stuff like that. So I get a call, I'm like, okay, cool. And I pick up the phone, and it says Connecticut, because the coach was from Connecticut. And so I pick up the phone thinking it's Yale, but it's really Harvard. So I'm on the phone with this guy for 10 minutes not knowing. And Yale and Harvard, this is like real deal. Presidents go to this game.
That's a rivalry right
and I'm
there.
like, I can't, and 5 minutes of the call in, I'm like, he's like, you gotta come up to campus. I'm like, I can't wait to come up. You know, New Haven's a great place.
And they're like,
you know, go Bulldogs. And he's like, whoa, what? What did you just say? And I was like, yeah, go Bulldogs, you know, yay, Yale.
Holy
And I was like, at that moment, I just knew. It was like, you know the moment where you're like,
yeah, you're like, I'm not getting anything
just put in nice language, you fricked up, you know? I was like, oh. And he was like, that's the bad side of the river. Like, don't talk about that school, like, and all that stuff.
Was he like genuinely upset?
He was genuinely upset.
Holy
He was genuinely upset, and obviously they wanted to recruit.
That's a crazy story.
And I was like, shoot. And then from there on, I never heard from Harvard.
Wow.
Well deserved. But yeah.
You know what? It wasn't meant to be.
It wasn't meant to be.
It wasn't meant to be.
But then, yeah, so I was committed to Yale my senior year. We had a good senior year, but good is we made it to the semifinals. But now in Columbus, my little brother, he just won 2 back-to-back junior,
it's
senior
like
year.
So
that's a down year. So we had a down year for Columbus football. And after that season, I was kind of like, okay, I'm going to Yale. We got accepted. January, I mean, everyone already signs in December. January, I was like, okay, I'm about to press, like, hey, like, let me matriculate to the system. Let me go to Yale, you know? And then I get a call. And I'm like, okay, like, what's this call? And it's the Cal coach saying that their quarterback flipped to UCLA on signing day, and now they're scrambling all ahead. They're like, oh, shoot, like, all the quarterbacks already signed. Where do we go? And since legally you can sign people until like February 3rd, they still like had an option to sign me. And the only reason the signing period's so above.
And you had no contact with them
No
prior
contact.
to this point.
West Coast. I barely even knew, like I obviously knew Cal and Stanford.
Of course, yeah.
I knew like Aaron Rodgers, Marshawn Lynch, but like I'd never watched like a Cal game.
Right.
I was like, Cal, you know what I mean? I literally called one of my friends, Marcelo Mueller, he's at Michigan now. I was like, hey man, like, you know anything about Cal? Because we're on the phone, like, and stuff like that. He's like, yeah, great business school. I'm like, all right, sounds good. And I talked to the coach. I obviously researched more about Cal.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough. He said, hey, we're going to come down and see you throw. And that day I was sweating bullets. I'm like, okay, this is my chance. Because do I go Cal with Aaron Rodgers, Jared Goff? Or
do I go
to
like the Ivy League
Ivy
route?
League
Yeah.
with, I'm a Miami guy. I went on my official visit to Yale. Loved everything except it was -4 degrees when I went.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't play football -4 degrees, you know, every day.
That's rough.
So I was like, let's go. Ended up going well. They offered me a scholarship, and I signed like
shit.
3 days later.
Wow. What a crazy turn of events. At the last hour, too.
I really thought that I was going to go to Yale.
Yeah.
And my mom kept on saying, like, hey, you're going to get a Power 5. At that point, there were 5 conferences.
Right.
Rip the Pac-12. But
R.I.P.
I was like, no way, mommy. Like, there's no way. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to Yale. And then magically happened, so.
Moms always know. It's
Moms
weird.
always know,
They
yeah.
always know. It's weird.
So.
Damn, that's pretty awesome. Well, so then now you sign with Yale. I mean, with Cal, and then you start that process.
Yeah.
You fly in basically that summer, essentially, right?
Yeah.
And start doing all the practices, taking your classes, and all that. How was that transition from East Coast to West Coast?
Yeah. So before I say that funny story, Yale doesn't have any scholarships because they're Ivy League.
Right.
So I actually signed on the December signing date with Yale, and then I for real signed in February with Cal. So Mr. McKeon, athletic director, is like, you're the first player that's ever signed twice in Columbus history. But
That's funny.
signing that paper, I mean, I didn't know what my life was going to come to. I mean, the West Coast.
Had you visited the campus before?
I visited once for 2 days, but it was like really quick because I got to get back and sign the document to go because there's a deadline. And I'd never been to California in the first place, like prior to that. So I was like, okay. Nonetheless, San Francisco area, like I visited campus and stuff, but
Because where exactly is Cal?
it's 20 minutes out of San Francisco.
Okay.
And it's literally sandwiched in San Francisco, Oakland,
Gotcha.
and then it's sandwiched in between there, and then up above you have like Napa and stuff like that where Stanford is.
Okay.
So it's right by the coast. You can see the water from the stadium and everything like that. And so I was like, okay. And when I tell you it's literally Miami flipped upside down, like everything opposite, it is, I mean, everyone's a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah.
It's definitely very different. And luckily I had great roommates and a great support system to kind of get adjusted there, because I saw like a couple kids who, you know, it's tough moving away from home, you know, moving away from home for
It's a tough transition.
full-time
It's not
job.
easy, yeah.
Full-time job. And they're kind of like, okay, like maybe should I sign with my hometown team, you know? And I was lucky enough to have a great support system and have a smooth lane. Like obviously there was points where I was homesick once.
Yeah.
And smooth points that, you know, I didn't get the culture. It was a little bit of culture shock. Like especially in Miami, like in the high school, whenever you meet somebody, you're like, hey, how you doing? And give them like a little hug and stuff like that. So there's like a little athlete.
Hispanics were like touchy.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
very touchy, you know? And there's a little athlete thing, you know, coming out all the new athletes. I'm like, okay. And so I'm obviously with my football boys, and we meet another sport, like another women's sport. I think it was like a track team or something. I can't remember. And I go, I'm like, hey, how you doing, Fernando? They're like, whoa, what are you doing?
That's like the kiss on the cheek.
Kiss
I
on the
remember
cheek
like
thing.
the first time I did that was like I think in like New York or Boston or something, and it was the same shit. I went there to like say hi, I'm Andre, and they're like, is this guy trying to kiss me right now? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, where are this guy's manners? So I had a little bit of reality check there, and I got to like check back in when I'm Miami and
you got to adjust.
Berkeley. So that was definitely a little bit of a culture thing. And there's a ton of amazing Asian food over there.
Okay.
A ton of amazing Asian and Indian and a lot of Mexican food over there. So that's something that I've been exposed to.
No croquetas and
no
pasaditas
croquetas.
or
Actually,
anything
there was
that.
like at the facility there was like a day, it was like Cuban sandwiches. And everyone like knows I'm Cuban, you know, being from Miami and stuff. And they're like, oh, the Cuban sandwiches. And I ate it. And the chefs at our school are amazing, like world class, because they got to serve world class athletes. And I love all of them. Shout out Mr. Rob, that's my guy. But the Cuban sandwich, and I was like, oh, it's just not the same, you know? It was so good, but it was not the same. And all my friends were like, oh, so Cuban sandwiches taste like?
Yeah, for them, it's like, holy shit, it's amazing. But yet for you, you're like, this is
like, come down to Versailles or Casa Cuba or something, man, you know? So.
Oh, yeah. That's cool. One question I actually wanted to ask you, did you ever get recruited by like UM or FIU? Or like, I mean, considering like the local, right? It's tougher to get recruited from, I know yours was a little bit different because it was like at the last hour kind of thing, but they like to recruit locally. Did anything really happen there conversation wise?
Yeah, like you said, like all schools like to recruit locally.
Yeah.
Like Miami, like their motto recruiting, obviously they want to pull the
Plus
national
there's plenty
things.
of talent down here.
They want to build a fence.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they've said in multiple interviews and stuff. They want to build a fence, all the talent to go right to Miami. And I did get recruited by FIU, but the coach knew that he was getting fired. And he was like,
Butch at the time.
It was Butch. It was under that. And it was like the quarterback coach. He was like, hey, I know I'm getting fired in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Like they already told me.
During that time.
Mess. And they're like, hey, I know I'm getting fired in 2 weeks, but I'm going to give you this offer just so you can get their name out.
Got it. Okay.
But, I mean, there's no saying that the new coach is going to
He's going to have his system, and who's to know that he's actually going to bring in the people that he was trying to bring in.
He just said that he liked me a lot and that if he was still the coach that he would take me in, but that he didn't have that opportunity anymore, but he wanted to give me kind of for like social media, that if some school says, oh, look, FIU offered him, let me take a look at him.
Right, exactly.
And then that senior year beforehand, it was still the Manny Diaz reign. And so I went to the camp and I was pretty heartbroken because it's, you know, I had a really good camp and stuff like that. Like they knew who I was because of the Columbus quarterback and stuff like that. And the coach at the time kind of told me like, hey, like we'll maybe look at you for a walk-on spot here. And I was like, and I had confidence in myself. I thought it was good enough for a scholarship spot, you know?
Yeah,
like,
of course.
All this stuff.
You proved it.
And so I was definitely heartbroken then. I was a huge Miami fan growing up and everything. And it kind of did something similar to my little brother. They were kind of like, hey, like, we really like you, but, you know, we don't think you're that guy.
Right.
So it was a little heartbreaking for both of us, but luckily I have the chance to redeem myself as we play him this year.
Hell yeah. So let's get into that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, so that was year 1 for you, right? At Cal?
So this was year 2. I redshirted my first year.
So you redshirted year 1, and then, but technically eligibility-wise,
first year
2, you play this year. So from what I remember, quarterback 1 gets hurt at Cal, right? And then that's where you came in and started playing, right?
Yeah. So it was kind of a weird scenario. I know you want to talk about NIL later.
Yeah, but I do.
One of this great guy, amazing guy. We bring in 2 quarterbacks actually. One from TCU and one from NC State. And throughout the entire fall camp, we're all battling, all 3 of us. And it ends up shaking out like the last practice. Like at one point I was starting, and it ended up shaking out the last practice that I was actually 3rd.
Holy
going into the game. Like it was very like hairs.
Wow.
Like it was this competition
could be
split.
1A, 1B, and 1C essentially.
Basically. And so the starter goes in, and the starter and the second string, they kind of battle it out for the first 4 or 5 games. They kind of like, they both, like one of the first has minor injuries, but then he ends up getting the starting job again, but then he loses it to the second string guy. So it's kind of like our quarterback situation was shaky at the time.
Gotcha.
And the 6th game, I was like a little impatient, but I was also like, okay, like,
my time
my time will come. It's no one's playing lights out here, you know, like, and to take our team to the next level, we need good quarterback play, especially that's what like all teams need. Like NFL, you know, every
reality is quarterback is arguably the most important position.
And although they're great guys, great quarterbacks, I know they're gonna do great things at their next school. Like at that point in time, the production wasn't there, and the coach called me. Funny enough, on my birthday, I was talking to my family. I gotta hang up.
Coach is calling.
Yeah, coach is calling. Coach is calling. This might be important. He's like Sunday night, and he's like, "Hey, Fernando, just want to let you know we value your preparation, everything you've done for the program. You're starting next week. No matter if you throw 20 million touchdowns or 20 million interceptions, you're playing for the entire game. Prove me right. Get ready." I'm like,
oh shit!
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm there. I'm like, gotta hang up, guys. Like, you know,
and this
like,
is how many days before the game?
7 days. 7 days. And at that point, I had a midterm that week. At that point, I'm like, all right, this might be my only chance ever, being a 2-star recruit, like very lowly recruited, like to ever play like and start a college football game, especially at Cal at a Power 5 level.
100%.
And that week we were playing Oregon State, who at that time had the #1 defense in the Pac-12 over Oregon, over Washington, over UCLA.
Yep. Were they ranked at that time?
They were ranked.
Yeah.
They were ranked. They were like 13.
Top 15.
Top 15. They were 12th in the nation, I think.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. So that night I literally go, and that entire week, 7 to 9 p.m. just in the film room, learning everything about them. And I was able to find out like a little bit of tendencies with them, which helped me on the field. And I was like, no matter what, I want my preparation to be so well, and so just be so like well thought of, and just be so deliberate in my preparation that I'll be able to sleep well at night. Whether I throw 20 million interceptions or 20 million touchdowns, I want to sleep well at night knowing that I did everything possible, that humanly possible that I could do to make sure I have a good performance. And I get out there, the first 2 throws in the dirt. I mean, I am nervous. Like my body's like, ooh. I'm like, oh my God, a college football game. Like Columbus,
I can't even imagine.
Columbus, you played Tropical Park.
Was in Cal or in
Cal.
Okay.
It was a night game. And it was like, I'm like, oh, okay, like a Tropical Park, we have 200 to 500 people. That game, it was like 50,000 people there.
Holy cow.
You know, and you just look up in the stands and you kind of get a little shell shock. You're like, it's like the lights like this that you can barely see if you look in the lights.
You could try to mentally prepare for that moment, but you can't because you have nothing to, like as a foundational piece to do that.
And that's a big thing why everyone redshirts. They're like, none of these quarterbacks are ready enough to play. You got to get thrown in the fire. And I ended up picking it up. We had a great game offensive-wise. I mean, we boat raced the #1 team in the Pac-12. It was like we lost 40 to like 50 that game.
Yeah, I remember it being a shootout.
It was a shootout though. In that game, I mean, the Oregon State defense only averaged like 12 points allowed per game.
That's incredible.
Until up to that point. And so that kind of led me into, hey, you're starting the next week.
Exactly.
And then we played Utah. And let me tell you.
You guys had a crazy stretch of games.
The first 5
crazy.
games I played. Oh no, I played the last six games. All teams were ranked at some point, top 20.
Yeah.
At some point. We play Utah, then we play USC, who's top 10 nationally.
I watched that whole game. That game was insane.
USC, then we play Oregon, who was a New Year, they were like number 6. One time they were number 4 in the nation. And then we play Washington State, who was ranked early in the season.
That's right.
And we play UCLA, who was ranked at that time that we played them. And it was crazy. And being from the East Coast, you don't understand, and I didn't understand the West Coast environments. When I went to Oregon, when I went to Utah, when I went to the Rose Bowl, UCLA, it's things I've always thought of, you know, Doak Campbell and Hard Rock and like all these other, and like Clemson. But going to these stadiums, it was surreal. It was like, wow, like I'm really playing in this. Like 2 years ago, I only had an offer to Yale. And now like I'm playing against UCLA to fight for bowl eligibility, the first bowl we made in the last 4 years. You know what I mean? It's like, this is a big game. Or Stanford sold out. I'm like, this is like a huge rivalry. Like,
You're
I'm
talking about
this.
historic environments too.
Historic. I mean, Stanford, no matter who wins, by how much or how well they're doing that year, they storm the field.
Absolutely.
The year before, we only won 4 games. They stormed the field when we beat Stanford, you know? So.
Yeah, no, I can't even fathom, you know, and it's crazy like hearing it from you, what the emotional side of it is, you know, like there's you as a fan, right? Like growing up, watching that as a kid and looking at those environments and being like, damn, that is sick, right? Like I want to witness that at some capacity. And then being in that situation without really much of a expectation, you know, like you're saying, hey, week, whatever that week was that you started, you're starting here. And well, by the way, you're going to keep starting now because you're performing well. So every week is a new level of preparation that you're not necessarily used to. Obviously, you did your preparation at Columbus and you had your level of preparation there, but you're in a Power 5 program going against some of the best teams in the country. And it's just like, go figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Exactly. And like you said, like there was no expectations. So I had my wristband. The 3 things on my wristband was, praise God, it was play-by-play, because something like quarterback, you do preparation. You got to analyze the defense. At Columbus, all we got is, to put it into the non-football audience, is cover 3 and cover 1, which are very simple defenses.
Right.
And Cal, through the entire stretch of like those 6 games, I saw over 30 different coverages. So it was like, and it all happens very fast. And no one in high school, no one disguises. Right. And they're disguising. You're out there trying to like
on the
think about
level
your
of
own
athlete
play.
too on the other side of the ball. I mean, you're talking about speed is way higher in that level of football. Size, smart, you know, everything. You're getting the best of the best on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and I mean, this year we played last game at UCLA. I don't know if you watched the NFL draft, but it was very offense heavy. Yeah. And the first defensive player took
was
Lai Latu. Yeah. We played him.
That's right.
So,
he's Utah?
No, he was UCLA.
UCLA.
So right. I'm looking at the draft and I'm watching him sack me. I'm like, all right, cool.
Hey, that's me.
I'm like, hey, that's me. And like all of a sudden, I had like 3 people call me, like my Columbus buddies, and they're like, hey, it's on your TV. I'm like, I don't want to hear about it. You know?
Not the right way to see me on TV. Not the right way to
see me on TV. So, wow. I mean, it was really cool, like being in these environments and seeing how much it meant to everybody. And
it's a surreal experience.
It was definitely very surreal.
Yeah. So what's kind of the expectation this year?
Yeah. So this is the best we've finished in a while. And the one thing that I would say that's why we were so improved last year was because of the culture change. Like mid-year, we're kind of like, hey, we lost to Oregon. We got killed by Oregon. It was like 60 to like 20 or 30.
Yeah. They're powerhouse too.
Yeah, it was bad. And we were like, all right, we need to win the next 3 games to make a bowl game. No matter what the coaches say, no matter what anybody says, administration, like we need to come together, players, in differences. We got to like start being accountable and you need to just level it up at all. Work harder, prepare harder, play harder. And I was like, okay, it kind of sounds pretty familiar.
Yeah,
To
exactly.
Columbus little turnaround. And so going into next season, we're going to the ACC, which is crazy because I could see the Pacific Ocean
Right,
from
we
my
were talking
apartment.
about that before. Holy
I can
shit.
see the Pacific Ocean from the football offices, and now we're playing the Atlantic Coastal Conference.
Yeah, holy cow.
So it's gonna be a lot of long flights, but next year, I mean, the Pac-12 was super competitive last year. I mean, I think almost every team was like ranked.
Yeah.
Like, so going to the ACC, I mean, our expectations are, through the roof. I mean, we're
100%.
definitely we made.
No, you realize you guys can compete in that conference, coming from the conference that you guys came from last year, like you're saying, was stacked essentially. And what seems to be a weaker ACC, essentially. Obviously, you still got the Clemsons, the FSUs, the Miamis. Can't ever take anything away from those programs, obviously. But realistically, I think you guys got a shot.
Yeah. So
What side of ACC are you guys on?
I mean,
What is it? The division? What is it? Remember, it's
It's the coastal, the Atlantic. I think those are like the two divisions.
Is that what they're called? Coastal and Atlantic? I don't even know.
to be honest, I should be more educated on that. I don't know. I mean, I just know the opponents we play, and although people,
That's all that matters. It's not important.
deem it as a
Go win games.
weaker ACC conference, you still never want to take anyone for granted.
Absolutely not.
Wake Forest 2022, they were in the ACC championship, and then this year they had a down year. They're worst team in the ACC.
Yeah.
So that's that. Those turnarounds can be super quick,
there's upsets all the time,
because of
too.
the transfer portal.
True.
Like a team has a need, they fill it up like this. Boom. Like FSU, Miami, both new quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So the transfer portal, you really never know who's going to be good.
Yeah,
And who's
true.
going to be a little bit more poor. So, I mean, this year our goal is ACC championship.
Oh, yeah.
And we know that if we win the games that we need to win, even if we have one road bump or two road bumps, throughout the way, that we still have a really good shot at it.
Yeah,
And we're all really confident in it.
It's a long season, and you're gonna run into those road bumps along the year, and it's obviously coaches got their job, but I think you said it best. Like the players are gonna rally, and that sense of leadership, obviously, in the locker room is extremely important, and keeping everyone focused on what the end goal is too. I think that's always crucial. You look at the most successful programs historically, and it all starts with the internal kind of cultures inside and the attitude, and no big egos in the locker room where no one's better than anybody else. It's a team sport at the end of the day, and you gotta rally amongst each other through the good times, right? Because it's always good. Everyone could be on the high horse when you start the season 4-0, but guess what? You can go lose the next 4 games, and it's a completely different temperature in that locker room.
For sure. And like you said, it all starts internally. And I think that we all have a chip on our shoulder. Just because you see, we see the articles and stuff like that. Oh, Cal, Stanford, and SMU are coming to the ACC. And everyone's like, all right, we got a couple low-level teams coming to the ACC. They're like, what? Like, we're going to go win this thing.
Yeah.
And you see FSU trying to get out of the ACC conference.
Right. Go to
Obviously
the
for playoff reasons, but we're like, and in their thing, they said that Cal and Stanford weren't competitive enough or something like that. And we're like, okay, we play you guys. We'll see about that and stuff like that. Obviously, they're a powerhouse program, and we respect them, but we have a chip on our shoulder. We know a lot of teams don't want to come out all the way to the West Coast and make that 6-7 hour flight to come play us. I know they're not going to be excited to come play us.
Yeah.
So we know we can take advantage of them there. Or, hey, Cal's coming in our house, whatever. It's Cal. And then boom, and then we can surprise them. So.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. You guys got a chip on your shoulder, a ton to prove. I think that's exciting. Do you play Miami?
Play Miami and FSU.
Miami here?
No, we play Miami there. And then
And
next
Cal?
year we play Miami here.
When's that Miami game over there?
I think it's like
Later in the season?
Sixth game.
Maybe we make a little road trip out there.
So,
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
I'm not a Miami fan, though.
'Cause I was
He's a Miami fan.
There you go. Yeah.
He always gives me crap.
But yeah, man, that's exciting. Oh, I love it. I forgot that you guys were going to the ACC. We talked about it before, but now that we're talking about it again, I'm like, yeah, that's a big shift, and a lot to come with that, which is exciting. So let's get into some of that NIL talk. Obviously, that's the talk of the land. And ironically enough, something happened, yesterday with the whole NCAA lawsuits and all that stuff. So there's a ton going on in that world. What's your point of view of NIL right now and kind of the landscape that you've kind of seen it? I know you guys did a campaign too with a burrito or something over there in California.
Yeah. So we launched the Mendoza burrito at the local Mexican Berkeley spot that everyone goes to, La Burrita. And I've been friends with the employees for a long time. I ended up getting to meet the owners, and we ended up creating this burrito where all the proceeds go to the National MS Society.
Nice.
And my mom has MS, so it's a cause and very dear to my heart. And I love my mom. She's my inspiration. Like we talked earlier on the podcast about her, having the belief in me. And Tom Brady said that all the great ones have always someone that loves them unconditionally. And my mom loves me unconditionally, and I love her unconditionally as well. So that was something that was really cool. It would have a positive impact in the community.
Oh, yeah.
Walk around campus, you're like, a burrito, So it's pretty cool. But
That was a burrito.
It's
like it was like Cuban inspired too, right?
So it's Cuban inspired.
Yeah.
So it's we try to do a little pork, but the restaurant doesn't serve pork. But we got around and did some chimichurri and stuff in it, and
Cool.
we're doing some future more Cuban heritage aspects later down the line that we have planned. But
hell yeah,
like you said, the NIL space, how I see it, and a lot of my teammates see it, and a lot of people just that like people that in the NIL space, like I wouldn't say agents, but I would say people that collectives, maybe agents, stuff like that. The rules are changing so rapidly. There's so much overturn. No one knows what's legal, what's not. What do you get in trouble for? And stuff like that. You saw
so there's still a ton of gray area in there.
So much gray area. So some programs are very, we don't want to take that risk.
Which you've seen a couple programs do. I think Boise State came out saying something like no NIL deals are coming through here, and it's maybe probably part of that reason. It sucks because players are obviously looking for that because they want to get paid.
Players are looking for that.
But I didn't know it was like that though.
And a lot of programs are like, all right, no gray area, we're going to attack, And so there's been a lot of discussion, especially in the administrative level, if you want to get in trouble or not, but it's not being enforced. It's truly not really being enforced, and that's where you see.
FSU got hit with some sanctions on NIL, right?
I think they got some sanctions, but I think none of them is severe. None of them are losing. To what does NIL outweigh the costs?
Right.
They bring in this amazing transfer class. They're great. They go to the college football playoff. They don't care about those sanctions anymore.
No, exactly.
And all the NIL stuff is just other programs trying to blackmail and bring down other programs.
Exactly.
But the one thing that's super interesting, but that kind of salad mix of everything together, the NIL, transfer portal, and all these new rulings, is that you said that all the great teams start inside the locker room is the ego thing. Now, hey, I'm not better than you. You and me are the same. We're brothers.
Right.
I'm gonna fight for you. You're gonna fight for me. No ego. We're the same. Now, whoa. Now we're being valued. You're worth 100K. I'm only worth 20K. What do you mean we're the same? Maybe you get on me. It's like, at least you're getting paid more.
Yeah, exactly.
So
the money makes it changes the whole dynamic.
Money changes the politics of the locker room. You don't see it at Cal's. You have a really good culture, and no one's like putting money in other people's faces and stuff like that. But other programs that I've heard I have friends at, I'm not gonna disclose that, they say like, hey, like people are like, hey, I'm making this much. Like, what are you making? And they're not making anything. And nonetheless, there's still walk-ons on the team that are paying for college.
Right.
That especially at Cal, we have a couple walk-ons who are gonna be great this year,
coming out of their own pocket, and
so it puts a lot of politics in the locker room, and especially with the schools now. Now the rulings even makes it more complicated. The rulings, the schools paying directly. Like for example, FSU public school. That needs to go on record how much you're paying everybody because they're employees.
Right.
So now you can search up online how much is the FSU quarterback.
Very true.
How much is all these? How much are all the Gator players getting paid?
Yeah, it's public
and I think that's gonna have a lot of animosity within the locker room and people jealousy.
It's gonna set an expectation too. Imagine you're a player that's being recruited. You're gonna go now look and it's like, okay, FSU, they're getting paid $50K here. UCF, they're getting paid 25. At Bama, they're getting paid 100, and then you're like, well, I'm going to go there then because I'm seeing that they just are paying their student athletes X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
And it just alters decision making now too. It's that to me is kind of like the part that I wish they could have maybe put a little bit more emphasis on when they were kind of trying to build this program out of
Yeah.
all NIL and some of these other things that the NCAA is doing right now. But right now it's like highest bidder, just go there, And then what it's creating is these players aren't even so focused on football. Obviously, they're extremely talented and they have every right to go to these programs, but they're so more worried about their personal image as a person, right? And building their brand and getting the social media followers and having all this hype around them.
Yeah.
Because then what is it going to do? That big donor that's got $1 million is going to say, hey, go over here. And I'll never forget the day that Travis Hunter got flipped to Jacksonville State or Jackson State, right?
Yeah.
Portnoy basically bought him for $1 million essentially, and because he was boys with Dion, and Dion got him to go there. But he was an FSU guy, number 1 recruit in the nation at the time, and flipped for $1 million. Obviously, they went to Colorado, and he got a bigger platform and a bigger stage. But if you're thinking NFL, Jackson State or Jacksonville State, it was Jackson State, right?
It was Jackson State.
Jackson State. Jackson State was not going to give you the best shot of making it to the NFL because the NFL scouts, even though he might have all the raw talent in the world, are looking at him and saying, hey, you know what? You're not really playing against the best of the best. So how can we really accurately grade you to make it to the pro? He just took the money and rode. They maybe had a plan of action that Dion wasn't going to be there for a while and then obviously made it to Colorado and all that. But you can already see that people were altering decisions based off of the fact that where am I going to go get the money? And I get it. Imagine being that kid that comes from a rough neighborhood. Their mom is working 6 jobs. The brothers all share a bedroom, and there's 6 of them in the bedroom. Like, money is essential, but at what cost does it become a problem, right? Like, obviously there's the essential component that these kids deserve to get paid, but there's also the component that's like greed and, like you said, egos that get involved. And I think that creates a larger problem in the long term of all of this.
Yeah, it creates a large problem. I mean, a couple of things I'll say about it is football. First off, everybody understands it's in the business. Football is a very, very physical sport.
Right.
At any point you saw like Jordan
True.
Travis, boom.
That's another good point.
Let's say if he was like in his first year, boom.
Yeah.
His NIL value goes down at least like $500,000, with a torn, like destroyed knee and everything. Like, luckily he's like playing in the NFL now, which is amazing for him. Yeah. But it's very physical. I mean, you never know when your last snap's gonna be.
Very true.
And you never know, especially like Drew Bledsoe, like his last snap, and he could come back, but never know. Someone could rise up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the NIL, especially with the transfer portal, is that kids are entering the transfer portal now, and they're getting these offers, and whether they go to these schools or not, they have value and they have leverage to their own school. They're like, hey, FSU wants to pay me $50.
Right.
What are you gonna are you gonna match it, or what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
And then
it's a mini NFL basically.
And especially with the egos and stuff like that, with the brotherhood. Like, one thing you see about the Columbus, and why I think Columbus is so great at football now, is the brotherhood. The culture's established, and I mean, we all go work out there, like you said.
Yeah.
Like Jordan, like Elijah Roberts, Henry Parrish, Xavier Henderson, Shiloh Conway, and Trinity Conway. I mean, you just see all the Columbus guys working out there, and we're all working. It's because we were together for 3-4 years. Transfer portal, me and you are boys, and let's say you're the receiver, they bring in somebody, and he starts right over you because they pay him. That creates a little bit of tension in the locker room.
Absolutely.
We've been boys for 4 years, and all of a sudden, they bring somebody else in. That could throw off the entire locker room dynamic.
Very true.
Like, whoa.
Chemistry's
our boy
huge.
Johnny,
yeah,
like he was the guy. Now all of a sudden you're bringing somebody else in. Oh, you're bringing someone else in my position?
Yeah.
You don't believe in me? You're paying him more than me? So it
Very
gets
true.
really, it's a fierce landscape, and hopefully some regulations get put on it.
It's going to take a while, I think, to balance out. I think it was the inevitable of what was always going to happen.
For sure.
But it was just like, I think they just said, we're going to open the floodgates up, and we're going to figure it out as we go. The reality is, college football was making a ton of money, so they had to make a way for everybody else to kind of benefit, on the player side of it. But they kind of just said, it's the Wild West, and we'll figure it out as we go, and we don't really care what happens in between. But eventually, with all this money that's going to be poured, you're going to assume that there's going to have to be some sort of like cap.
Yeah. You would think so, but you never know, especially I saw a lot of, private equity. They want to get into
Yeah.
college football.
Yeah.
It's been like
The
a whole.
The Saudis.
Or
the Seminoles are
Saudis.
talking to the Saudis about trying to buy him out to go to another conference.
Yeah. So it is crazy. But the one thing I will say, and the one hope it has for a lot of players is, like you said, a lot of players aren't really focusing on football now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a ton of like YouTube channels
True.
and just ton of like all this
ways they can monetize
all these
themselves.
other distractions, which is great because they're monetizing. But for the people who, you know, have that Tom Brady mentality, that Kobe Bryant mentality, whatever you want to deem it as, there is so many distractions that people are getting so distracted that I would say that it's not easy, because nothing's easy, but it's easier than ever to get to the NFL because kids want to stay an extra 1 or 2 years to get paid more. Kids are now like, hey, I'm doing social media now, you know? And so if you were to be a college player who would grind, let's say back in the day, everyone used to grind, head down. No, everyone's like, I need to make it to the league for the money, you know? No matter what neighborhood or where you grew up, like, I need the money. I want to be successful in my career. So everyone puts their head down, grinds. Then you have that whole entire pack of players like, hey, trying to enter their third year, the year of eligibility, or their fourth year. But now you have players who are grinding distractions, you know, like doing photo shoots, just doing just whatever.
Brand deals, whatever, all that stuff that goes into it, yeah.
And maybe too much at some point, that if you were to really grind, it could put you ahead. It could put you a step ahead. Not saying that it's a golden ticket, but it could put you a step ahead
100%.
Than you would not have been exposed to and kind of.
That's a good point. You almost look at it as like an advantage compared to, you know, a distraction, essentially, where, hey, I'm not going to partake in that for the most part. You know, I might do a thing here and there, but my goal is football, and I'm going to double down on football because that's what I want to do. Yeah,
and like I heard a story. It was a kid don't quote me on this, but it was a kid it was an ACC conference. It was a team in the ACC conference, and a quarterback, you get 4 games for redshirt. And basically, he played 4 games in the middle of the season because the starter got hurt. And they wanted him to start the last 3 games of the season. But he said, no, I want to forego those 3 games, not play, let someone else play, because I know my NIL value is high, and I want to transfer somewhere else.
Are you serious?
So they let another kid play who ended up being better than him, and the kid's NIL value dropped. And he ended up transferring, but like,
holy snap.
But also, like, people need to realize, like, if you're not playing those 3 games, like, that shows other schools how you, like, what your character is.
Right,
like,
so that's
you're
exactly
a quarterback,
what I
you're
was
a
about to
leader. But still, people are so enamored with their NIL value. Oh, I'm being treated amazing. I'm not being treated enough, that they're always looking for the quick way out. Hey, just look at what's in front of you. Like, you're starting at this ACC program, you know? Like, this is an amazing opportunity.
Don't take for granted what you have.
Don't take for granted. Like, like, you might make an extra whatever, a couple dollars. I mean, the end goal should be the NFL. Football. I mean, my end goal is NFL because that's where, you know, that's been my dream, stuff like that.
That's awesome. That's a good point. And it's cool hearing that, you know, from you as a player and hearing like kind of like that internal point of view, because it's a monster of a topic right now.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, we're gonna do like a quick rapid fire questions. First question I wanted to ask you was, what's your favorite Cuban dish? Like when you're back here in Miami, do you have a go-to dish that you have to go to?
The one thing I will say, it's not really a dish, but I would say it's a side.
Okay.
Arroz con frijoles. I gotta have it. I was a fairly skinny kid, and now I've bulked up because these guys, like, I see them on TV, but when they're hitting you in person, I mean, it is like, I'm like, how could someone even grow and be that muscular? Know how I would
get up if I took one of those hits.
I need to show you. I'll show you a picture after. Maybe you can put it on the screen or whatever. This guy at Oregon, he sacked me, and I'm like, this guy can't be real. Like, how's he real? He's like taller. I think I'm a tall guy.
Yeah.
He's way taller than me, way stronger than me. So I needed to bulk up a little bit, and even from a young age, like playing in Columbus, like higher level football.
Yeah.
And so my mom would make the best arroz con frijoles, and it's not the same as just putting a can of white rice and a can of black beans. Like there's an art to making
homemade. It hits different.
It hits different. So I would say that's my thing right there.
Nice. Do you have a favorite route that you like to throw?
Oh, okay. So I would say, I mean, To be honest, whatever gets me the completion would be the right answer. And whatever gets the ball to my playmaker, the easiest. But I would say my favorite play, I would say kind of like with the routes, I mean, it needs to be like a bread and butter play. I love, especially for us, I love the play action plays. As we have an amazing running back and amazing offensive line. Running back Jaden Ott, he's like ranked the 3rd running back in the nation this upcoming season. So everyone bites up. We have like either a nice big post, go, or corner route, and a couple overs to one of my best friends, a tight end, Jack Endries.
Hell yeah.
And then a couple people in the flat that's easy to check down to. So those are some of my favorite plays.
Nice.
But whatever
I love a good play
Coach
action,
Blesh
too.
calls, shout out Coach Blesh and Coach Gilbert. So whatever they call, I'm
Nice.
good with.
You're good with that?
Yeah.
What's the game day playlist look like?
So funny enough, my philosophy changed on that midway through the season. As a quarterback, the week of the Oregon State game, the reason I was in there 7 to 9 p.m. wasn't because I was working out or wasn't because, anything physical. Because at that point, the work's done. You're not going to do anything in a week that's going to elevate your game major from, maybe like a mid performance to an amazing performance.
Right.
That work goes in the off season. You just got to stay healthy. Mentally, a quarterback, it's like studying for a final every week. I have an entire routine every week. Saturday game, we win, happy, whatever, celebrate with my teammates. Sunday, come in. I need to at least watch and label 4 games of that team. Whether it's previous season, if he's at DC at another school, watch that team. He was it the year before. I need to watch at least 4 games. Mondays, first down and 10s. Tuesdays, second downs. Wednesdays, third downs. Wednesdays, third downs. Thursday, we have like red zones and special situations, like 2-minute, fourth downs,
Gotcha.
and all that stuff. And then Friday, kind of like a little test. So what I'll do is I'll play those 4 games back, and I'll be like, pause it pre-snap, and I try to go through this pretty quick. I'd be like, hey, what coverage are they playing? What play would I call here? So I kind of have the call sheet there, and I'm like, hey, what play would I call here? And then me and the OC, we kind of go through it. So when I'm there, we're Doak Campbell, it's 3rd and 3. I'm like, all right, Wednesday, I already know all the coverages they do 3rd and 3.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm expecting this call and this call. And the play calls, the OC calls it, and I'm already ready for it. And I'm like, we're in the
So
same
you're already
wavelength.
mentally kind of viewing exactly what to expect in that situation.
Yeah,
essentially.
so I'm going through my notes the entire week, and that's why you see quarterbacks like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady so successful. They're not as talented as Patrick Mahomes
Right.
or all these other guys physically,
But the preparation.
but their preparation. And that's the thing is when I listen to all the music, especially the music that gets disposed in the football space of all like the rap and hip hop, it kind of clouds my brain.
Yeah.
It's like you're getting so hyped up. I'm getting so hyped up. I can't think straight. I'm getting so hyped. I'm going with the momentum. Quarterback, I'd play by play because you can't go with momentum. You need play by play. Hey, new play, reset.
You got to stay grounded and you got to stay in
Guys,
control.
the moment you go with the waves, I mean, that's when it gets a little risky because it can go up, but as soon as you go up one or two back completions, you go
Right back
down
up and
and
down.
the team goes down. So actually, I saw Josh Allen. He actually listed like the classical music or like it was like reggae or something like very chill. And so I started doing that, but then in the end I just stopped. On game days, I just don't listen to music
Really?
because it clears my head, and that's something that
Nice.
I find a lot
So
more
it's just
clarity.
you just getting in your head and just
I'm thinking about
mentally-
it.
Yeah, allowing you not to have any external distraction, just literally you thinking and visualizing everything.
Visualization is key. And one of my
yeah.
mentors,
Hell
Mike
yeah.
Pulaski, who played at Cal when they were number 9 in the nation and played many years pro, he said the biggest thing that took a step up in his game was visualization. So that's something that I'm working on now a lot,
Nice.
that hopefully I can implement this season.
Yeah, you see that a lot with a lot of the biggest athletes across the board. Golfers are really big about the visualization because that's such a mental drain, essentially, where you don't have a team around you to elevate you or motivate you. It's you thinking about the shot and not getting too much in your head when you're standing over that ball. Football, obviously, same thing. Baseball, same thing, where they're there before the games visualizing every scenario in their head, and visioning, go make that play, to left center field where I might have to be full sprint and make that play on that wall, right?
Yeah.
Or the throw at home or the pitch that I got to throw, all that's in your head. And it's a good point because, music emotionally can get you up, right? It has that effect. But like you said, it can actually dilute it because you're not thinking about the things that are going to go into your actual performance.
Exactly. And some of those, like, especially visualization, one of the big things you visualize, like, especially in those pressure moments. So when all the adrenaline and cortisol runs through your body, you recognize it and you're like, okay, I'm not gonna let this affect me, because it's like fight or flight. You don't want to. A lot of people get scared in the big moment, and there was a couple moments last year that I was like, oh shoot, like I'm in this moment, like it's just like, hey, when you play, like what are we gonna do? I'm talking to myself.
Yeah.
And being with a visualization this year, I'm able to visualize that play. Hey, it's a game-winning play. Let me recognize those feelings, and then I take it in order to not have the flight, but to take all that energy and put it into the fight. And I'm ready for those situations now, and that's something that I'm really looking forward to have this season.
That's awesome. That's powerful stuff right there. Like, I mean, good for you, dude.
Yeah.
Like that's impressive, because that showcases a powerful human being, in my opinion. Like, I mean, I'm sure you've seen the Kirk Cousins thing.
Oh yeah.
That's what that reminded me right there. I was like, yeah, and it shows, man. So good for you. Like, we're rooting for you. I think it's going to be an awesome season, and keep doing what you're doing. We're definitely rooting for you. A lot of people are, and we're excited to see you play this year, man.